Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I told you I will try to get this done as soon as I can. This is gonna be probably one of my longer videos because I'm gonna give you an understanding of now. Okay, let's go back in time. When Batman Begins came out, I was very hesitant about this because I was actually wanted to see what they're gonna do with this. I saw the first Batman Begins, and I liked the movie. I thought the movie was really good. It kept a good core standing of who Batman is, but in some ways, it didn't feel like Batman. Then the Dark Knight comes out, which I call it's not called the Dark Knight. This should be called the Clown Prince of Crime because Heath Ledger took the whole movie away from Christian Bale. He took the whole movie away from him. He outshined the hero so easily as the Joker. It was almost ludicrous. But we got the Dark Knight Rises, and it was about Bane and the ramifications of what happened when Bruce killed and destroyed the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul. Ra's, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say the way they had it in the movie, Ra's al Ghul. Um, I did not like the movie. I thought they rush jobbed it. I felt that it was disjointed. It flowed with the narrative they were going with, but it was so disjointed about the characters. It made absolutely no sense. Alfred giving up on Bruce made absolutely no sense when he established that he will never give up on Bruce. He will be with him to the very end. Um, the way Bruce just basically de-evolved himself into becoming a hermit while his city was his his city was his city was becoming worse and worse and worse. The fact that the moment anybody got anywhere near his technology, it didn't give a red flag on anything. Those are the things that really made me go, wait a minute, this is Batman. I mean, why would this all happen? It would make no sense. So I really sat down and I really thought about it, and I came up with some ideas that I bounced it off of Hawk. Hawk actually liked this one that I'm about to tell you. He felt that it flowed a lot better with um with the whole the whole Dark Knight series, and I still call it Dark Knight Rises. And I said in my last video, my Batman video, that I would have the main antagonist of the whole movie is the Penguin. The whole antagonist of the whole movie is the Penguin. The sub villain is the Mad Hatter, and you're watching the evolution of a man becoming an obscene murderer, and it's a self reflection of Bruce. It's also a self reflection on Bruce. That because of Rachel's death, and you're getting introduced to Selena Kyle. You also get introduced to Vesper Fairchild and also Vicky Vale. Now, there's three women in there. Now, Vesper likes Bruce, but only because of his money. Selena doesn't give two craps about Batman. I mean, Bruce or Batman. She's just there to be a socialite, and we know who Selena Kyle is. She is the Catwoman. But she's not gonna beat Catwoman in the whole set of the movie. She's barely in the movie at all. But she's there to give you an understanding of what's potentially gonna happen. But Vicky Vale, she cares about Bruce, she likes Bruce, but she doesn't know who Bruce really is. And the main villain is the Penguin, the sub villain is the Mad Hatter, and you also have Don Maroney. He's in the movie, and you also get introduced to some of the other crime families that are still around after the whole thing with the Joker. And if you have a question about would I still have Heath Ledger Joker in there, I'll say hell yes, hell yes. So this is how I would set it up. Basically, the first act would be the city is still in dire straits because of what happened with the Joker. This has been literally about 2 years after Joker's reign in the city, and they're still feeling the effects of it. People are so scared of the Batman. People are scared of these costume criminals coming into their town. They don't trust Batman. Um, Gordon has been put on Commissioner Gordon has been put on literal notice by the mayor to get money and enforce a Batman task force. Also, the Harvey Dent law has been completely put into effect. Now, I would still keep the Harvey Dent law. However, Something happens in this movie in the second act that destroys the Harvey Dent law. It completely derails the whole Harvey Dent law. And this is what happens. So the first act, you get introduced to that the city is starting to fight against Batman. Bruce is still doing his thing. He's feeling the effects of Rachel's death. He's feeling the effects of the city not that he's not being the hero in his own city. Alfred is telling Bruce that you have to endure. You have to keep pushing. This is the life you chose. You chose to put on this costume and frighten these criminals so they don't harm other people. Now, just because the Harvey Dent law is in effect, that does not mean that criminality is going to stop. Alfred ensures into Bruce the fact that no matter what, this is a never-ending battle. You change things in this city. You really think that just because this Harvey Dent law is in effect, that criminality is going to stop? The corruption going on in the city is going to stop? No, it's not. The Harvey Dent law is just a stopgap. Because if the secret of what happened with Harvey Dent ever gets out, it will destroy the city down to its core and its foundation. So Bruce continues on. He has to deal with basically a mercenary task force inside of Gotham City. So he's in Gotham, and he's trying to take down some criminals, and then the task force shows up and takes everybody down. Batman has to get himself out of there. He has to use new technology. He creates a brand new Batarang and also a new suit that's a little bit more rubbery than the rest, but it's created with triple weave Kevlar plating inside of the suit. So basically, it doesn't look armored on the outside. It's armored on the inside, but it's plated on vital parts of the body, and Bruce designed it that way so he could be able to move. And it also has reinforcement in the fist, in the shins, elbows, the forearms, and also his head. So if he has to headbutt, he has to use his fist. It doesn't put too much strain on his body. Because of the effect that happened with the Joker did something to him long time in their battle, and the battle with the scuffle that he had with Two-Face, it actually reinforced the injury, and it hurt him really, really bad. So basically, he has to make a brand new suit that actually keeps him way more protected, and also he now has to take cortisone shots. He has to take cortisone shots, and he has to keep his body more limber, and he has to exercise 10 times more than he normally does. But the other thing that's been going on in the city is the Wayne Corporation, Wayne Enterprises, is starting to get its funds are starting to get retrofitted. And what I mean is that the money that he normally makes, it's not coming in droves. Something else is going on that's taking away all of his money. So Wayne Enterprises needs one huge a breakthrough in technology that's going to put them into a higher echelon. So Bruce and the R&D talk to one of their subsidiary companies, which is GothCorp. And if anybody knows who GothCorp is, GothCorp has ties to the Mad Hatter and also Victor Freeze. So in this iteration, we're going to make it where it's the Mad Hatter, of course. So they talk to their psychiatrics, and they get a brand a state-of-the-art, a way-funded psychiatric firm that actually deals with the mentality of the criminal mind, and the leader of this is Jervis Tetch. Now, Jervis Tetch also, and you also get the understanding that Jervis Tetch went to the same psychiatric school as Jonathan Crane, and he even says, "Yeah, I know who Jonathan Crane is, and I'm very sorry for my an ex-colleague of mine and his descent into madness, but this is not what this is about. We're going to try to help fix the minds of these broken people." His whole thing is he's trying to fix the minds of broken people because his mind is screwed. You come to find out a little bit more about Jervis that he has DID, and he's always tired, and he doesn't know why. The reason why he's always tired is the moment he goes to sleep, the Mad Hatter personality inside of him comes out, and he does strange things. He does stalking. He does weird occurrences to Jervis to try to make Jervis realize that that he's not in full control. And the more that Jervis starts to descend, the more the Mad Hatter starts to come out. And that is how you establish Jervis Tetch. Um, you also have Bruce go to their first person they talk to is Jonathan Crane. You get introduced to Cillian Murphy's character. Cillian Murphy even tells Bruce that, out of every person I've ever met in my life, I've only met three people I consider the most dangerous people I have ever met in my life. People who live double lives. And that's you, and that's that weird clown that's inside of Arkham Asylum right now. And he knows that's the Joker. And also a person a person that I feel should be in here just as much as we do, and that's Jervis. You need to watch him and be careful of him. But Bruce is thinking, no, he hasn't done anything. He truly hasn't done anything. But he'll keep it in mind. Like, he's not listening to Jonathan. And Jonathan says to him, the most dangerous people are the silent ones. Those are the ones that like to keep their lives quiet and private, right, Batman? And Bruce is sitting there looking at him like, Batman is thinking he doesn't know my secret identity, but you're kind of getting the hint that the Scarecrow does. He knows that Bruce is Batman. There's certain things that Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow is doing that's really illustrating this. He also even states that he had a visit one night, and it was by some people that he's very, very familiar with. But he's going to keep that to himself for right now. And he kind of looks at him, and he nods his head, detective, and he walks out. And then that's what makes Bruce stand up and go, what the hell? Like, he doesn't know what the hell's going on here. So then, towards the end of the first act, you get Sal Maroni on the phone, and he's talking to all the crime families, telling them that, okay, we need a plan because we trusted the clown. He ruined this city. And now this Harvey Dent law is going to put even more effect into him. And he's sitting there reaming into the rest of these crime families because he's putting himself as the main man. He's putting himself as the new Carmine Falcone, because you come to find out that Carmine Falcone died he was killed in the Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry, in the Dark Knight. That Joker killed him. Joker killed Carmine Falcone in Arkham. So Sal Maroni puts himself as the main person in charge. So the moment he's sitting there reaming his guy, a guy comes in with a phone, and he says, "Boss, you need to answer this." He goes, "I don't have to answer anything. Tell him as a message." And the first thing he said is, "It's the boss." And he goes, "What? What are you talking about?" He takes the phone and he listens, and he goes, "Who the heck do you think you are?" And the moment he hears the voice, he went, "Yeah, I understand. No, boss. I mean," he goes, and you hear a click, and he goes, and he goes, "Sir, get the families." He says, "Get the families, get everyone together. I don't care what it takes. Get them here, get them into this house immediately." So you get Batman doing his circularization of the city, and he goes to Gordon, and Gordon tells him that he has to come after him. And Batman says, "I told you you're going to have to, and it's fine. Come after me, do what you have to do, but I'm not going to stop trying to save this city." And he goes, "I know you're not, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm telling you that of what's going on, because it seems that something else is going on inside this city. Something else is brooding. And I don't know what the heck is going on." He goes, "I need you to look into it." He goes, and Batman looks at him and goes, "What do you think it's all the way up to the governor? No. So you think the mayor is corrupt?" He goes, "No, I don't think the mayor has anything to do with this, but I'm thinking that the mayor is being pressured by somebody, and it's someone very powerful. It's not the governor, because I reached out to the governor, and the governor says he has nothing to. He says whatever happens in that city, bring it to me, and I'll do what I can." So, but he says until then, the mayor's the one in charge. I can't override the mayor's decisions unless it's going against, the public. And nothing's really is. I mean, it's just certain things are being put in place that makes you go, what the heck is going on? So Batman goes, okay, I'll go ahead and look into it. He goes, okay. He tells him, he says that I have never gotten this type of feeling since Carmine Falcone. And Batman turns around, looks at him, he goes, I think something else is coming, something worse. And he goes, then we'll deal with it. He goes, I hope so. And he leaves. So Batman leaves. And then, so you get the families, they all come together. And a lot of them are sitting there telling Maroni, I don't care if you are the one calling yourself the Don. We don't care. You're not the boss of all of us. And he literally tells me, I don't give a damn about all that right now. The only thing I need to tell you is the boss is coming. And they go, the boss? And three of them went, no. He says as long as Carmine, as long as he's getting his cut, everything is fine. So Maroni tells him, no. He goes, I just talked to him and he said that he's coming. I don't know what the heck is going on, but when he gets here, we got to act like everything's under control. Put me in charge. And they're sitting there going, oh my God, okay, he ain't coming. He goes, he's not coming. You're just trying to use this as a power grab. You see absolute fear on Maroni's face, something you have not seen since The Dark Knight, since he saw the Joker, since that time in that meeting when he met the Joker. He literally says this. This is an in-scene line. He says, boys and girls, I don't care about the power. I don't care about the power. I have never been this scared since that damn clown. The boss is coming. And he's coming here and he's going to kill all of us because we did something wrong. The only reason why he's never stepped foot in Gotham is the fact that Carmine Falcone was in charge. And Carmine kept everything in tow. Everything has to go according to a plan. If you want to deal with him, you deal with him. But I'm not. Anybody who wants to join me, let me be the one in charge, and I will keep him away from this. I will drive him out of this city. I will give him his penance. I will give him his vig. But he cannot come into this city. Because if he comes into this city, he will never leave. And you're like, what the heck is going on? And that's when you see a jet, a Concorde jet, fly in. It's black and everything else. It lands, and you see this car drive up, and then you see this guy walk out and walk down the stairs, and you hear this beautiful music. It's almost like it's a pianist piece about sadness, and it's also about rage. It's sadness and rage all in one piece, and it's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful piece, and I know that Hans Zimmer could do something like this. And he does it so well. And you see this individual get into a car, and they're all just standing there, and they're just not looking at him. And he gets in the car, and the car kind of goes, whoop, it just drops and gets back up. You're like, wow, this dude is okay. They close the door, and it drives off. As Maroni is talking, as they're sitting there still talking, they hear brr, brr, and they're going, what the hell? And they go, brr, brr, and you hear, duh, 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 and Batman's just beating his way through all of Maroni's men, just beating them up, grappling them, throwing them across the room. You're like, Jesus, he is being relentless. And he goes straight through the door and beats down the guy right through the door. And he basically grapples Maroni and pulls him over. And Maroni's like, oh, and he grabs him and he tells him straight to his face, tonight's the night you all are done. And Maroni's like, you idiot, get the heck out of here. He's coming, get out of here. And he's like, what are you talking about? So basically, the police show up the I'm sorry, the not the police, the task force shows up, and Maroni gets himself out of there. All of them get out of there because this is not Maroni. This is one of Maroni's homes, and they're and Batman has to fight his way out of all of Maroni's men. Plus like there's the Fukalong triads. There's the triads there. There's the Russian mob, which that the Russian guy who died in Dark Knight, he's not in charge anymore. There's another guy in charge, and it's a woman too. It's a guy and a girl, and they're in charge, and they're saying, nope, kill him. They don't care, just kill him, get rid of him. They're members of the Bratva. Dude, it's like the most dangerous clans in all of the world are all in Gotham, and they're like, no, get rid of the Batman. Get rid of him. And Batman has to fight his way out of it. Plus, he has to deal with this new task force, and Gordon is in there trying to figure out how can he mitigate Batman's death. But Batman gets out of it. He gets out of there, and he gets hurt. And then when he gets away, that's when the same limousine pulls up to a beautiful mansion, and it's called Cobblepot Estate. And you're like, yo, it's the Penguin. He gets out of the car, and you see Penguin for the first time. He looks awesome. He walks up the steps, and you can see sadness in his face. Sadness because he's looking at his childhood estate completely disheveled. And you see his eyes just become narrow and angry, and he turns around and he says, fix it up. And they're all men going, yes, sir. And they get on phone calls and everything. He goes, I want a press conference. I want the works. Bring it all. It seems the new son of he says the true son of Gotham has returned. The prodigal son has returned. He goes, the true prodigal son, not Wayne, but Cobblepot. And they're all, yeah. And he puts a cigar in his mouth and lights it up, and he starts going. And you hear the first time going, wah, 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 wah. And he walks off, and he opens the door, and he opens the door to his estate, and he walks in. And you're like, wow. So then they make the phone calls and everything, and then that's when you see Vicky Vale, and one of the guys runs in and says, and she's talking to the editor, the chief and editor, and the guy busts out the door, and he goes, what is it? He goes, you won't believe it. The prodigal son has returned. And they go, what? Wayne's been back. He goes, no, Cobblepot. And he goes, Cobblepot? And Vicky Vale is new there, so she doesn't know. She goes, Cobblepot? He goes, yeah, run it. Send somebody down there. Vale, you need to get down there too. This is front page news. The one of the leading family's children has returned back to Gotham. This is big. This is bigger than even Wayne. And so basically they hear this whole situation, and then Bruce gets back to his mansion, and he's sitting there, and Alfred says, and Alfred is watching no, Alfred's coming down, and he goes, Master Wayne, you need to see this. He goes, what is it? He turns on the television, and that's when they get the news that Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot has returned back to Gotham after 30 years being away. And Bruce is like, wait a minute. And she goes, of course, Master Wayne, you don't remember. You were just a much younger boy. And he says, and what happened is he says that Oswald's parents were ostracized by Gotham. And this was during the time when Oswald was sent to England for oh man, what the heck was it? For school. Like he was put in school. So what happened is that Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, they testified that Oswald's dad was basically in with the mob. He was in with the mob. That it was Carmine Falcone that basically ran Oswald out of his father out of town. And when Thomas revealed that his father was laundering money for the mob, that's what screwed the Cobblepots. And Oswald had nothing to do with it, but did he? But the story that you're gonna get is that he knew nothing of it, but he did. He was the one that basically started laundering money for the mob. He was doing it on the sly. That's why he sent himself to England, because he wanted none of that to fall on his parents. But when it did, and the Waynes are the one that basically testified to it, and he said that Thomas had proof, and he's like, who the heck gave him proof? Who the hell told him all this? You come to find out that it was Carmine. Carmine made a deal with Thomas years ago that he told him that if you help me get rid of the Cobblepots, I'll leave your family alone. I'll leave your family alone, like I'll leave a bunch of family. But he didn't keep that deal, and he killed him anyway. He got rid of him anyway. So you get this big, huge story that it wasn't Carmine that actually ordered the hit. What happened is that when Oswald's family got completely exiled and then they were murdered, you gotta find out that it was Oswald that did it. Oswald hired a hitman to kill his mother and father because he wanted nobody to have any. He wanted whatever money they had was all gonna go to him. But what happened is he was running the school that he was at, and he bought everybody off. Got himself good grades and everything else. Got himself a quote unquote degree in economics. Basically, he has a degree in economics, so he understands how to make money. So he basically ordered the hit, killed his mother and father, and when he found out that it was Carmine that was behind the whole situation, he told Carmine. He told Carmine basically, listen, I know you're the one that basically gave the information to Wayne. He goes, I'm not going to kill you for that. You actually just rushed up my plans. You rushed up my plans. I was going to have my parents knocked off anyway. My mother and father were idiots. They held me back. But you're going to get my good graces. As long as you're paying me the VIG on all business, doesn't matter what it is. Everything's going to be fronted through Falcone. Everything. Because he's the Don. He is the one that has all the power. Basically, Penguin, Oswald, he used a proxy. The only person that knew that Penguin was Oswald was Falcone. No one else knew. Maroni didn't even know until later. And that's the reason why he was definitely afraid. Because he was like, oh my God, that guy's coming back. He's going to kill us all. He's going to kill us all. He has no qualms doing it. And what Penguin was going to do was he told Falcone, keep everything running the way it's supposed to be. Pay me my VIG and I'll leave you alone. I won't come back. So when Falcone got knocked off, Penguin decided, okay, it's time for me to go home. It's time. I need to go home now. Because he heard about the Batman. So that's what I would have done with this character. And that's the Penguin. Okay, so we catch up with Jervis, and Jervis has a beautiful, and I mean literally, she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful girl next door type. Her name is Alice. Her name is Alice with a Y, not an I. And he's instantly fallen in love with her. But she has a boyfriend, and her boyfriend is that rough. I'm not gonna say rough and tumble, but he's that GQ type of guy. And Jervis is not a GQ kind of type of guy. He's pretty squirrely. And the thing is, here's the thing that I would make difference between Alice, the whole situation with the whole Alice in Wonderland story is, Jervis likes Alice. Alice actually likes Jervis. She actually likes him more than her own boyfriend. But she deep down knows there's something just off with him. And she's scared of it. She would give herself to him. Like that's how much she really likes him. But she's just scared that, will he hurt me? You know, it's one of those self-defense mechanisms that a lot of women have, and it's perfectly fine. And Jervis knows this. He picks this up on her. Like, she does like him. She does like him. And he tries to ask her out, and she's sitting there going, for drinks? And he goes, well, yeah, for drinks. Let's go down to Fifth Third. She goes, okay, okay. After work, after work, he goes, all right, and he's dancing and everything else, and he's really happy. And then he looks over and he sees the hat with the little with the card on the side, the Mad Hatter hat, and he just goes, no, no, please, let me be happy, let me be happy. And then but he keeps looking at the hat. And he goes, but that's not what's in the cards, is it? And you're like, wow, you're getting a lot of that Malcolm McDowell, Batman the Animated Series Mad Hatter. He speaks in rhyme, and he speaks a little bit from Alice in Wonderland, but he's tormented. He's like, he just wants to be happy, and this girl actually likes him. Alice likes him. Alice likes him so much that she's with the boyfriend, but she will leave her boyfriend for him. But she's just scared, like she just thinks that there's just something off with him, like there's just something like dangerous, and she's scared of it. That's why she won't do it. That's why she won't pull the trigger. So what happened is that they go on a date. Her boyfriend finds out, comes down there, and basically makes a big scene out of it and insults him. And that's when that's when just you get a stint, a small little notion of the Mad Hatter. And he's about to literally pull out a knife, and literally he was looking at him right, like he was aiming it right at his spinal column, like the right area to pop it in and just go twist, and that guy will just drop dead. It's like, whoa. And you see the scene play out just like in his head. He goes clonk, guy goes oh, and you hear a snap, and he just drops to the ground, and you see him just smiling and going You're like, wow, it's very disturbing. And then you see him just about to do it, and he goes, no, that's not the way. And he puts it down because and you see Alice just kind of looking at him like he doesn't do it. And that was the hint right there that she's like, let's go. Like she just basically pulls him off and says, let's go. And he goes, but Alice, and Alice like, I'll see you tomorrow, okay, Jervis? And he goes, yes, I'll see you tomorrow. And you see him just sitting there seething. He's sad, but you can see his hand just shaking because he's seething also. Again, it's a DID thing. Like a part of him he wanted to do it. He wanted to kill this guy in front of her and take her because that's part of his personality. But another part of him, the more meek version of him, is like, no. I just want her to love me for me. Not, I don't want to take her and claim her like a prize, stuff like that. And then the guy comes over, and the bartender comes over and goes, hey, she's into you, kid. And she goes, way into you. And he goes, I have never seen a girl look at a guy like that. Like, you literally see her just smiling, and she enjoys his company. That's the twist. That is the huge twist I would do for the Mad Hatter. Alice actually does like Jervis. But the problem is she's just scared. Like it's that predator prey mentality. When a prey knows that they're being predatored on, they get scared. They start to regress. But a part of her just wants to just allow it to happen. Like she's also kind of broken. And a part of her kind of just goes, if he's going to kill me, he's going to kill me. But a part of her's like, no, I don't want that. Like, I don't want that. So it's kind of like one of those, it's a very, very deep entwined story with Jervis, but that's the twist. It's not the fact that Alice doesn't want nothing to do with him. She just wants to be friends. No, she actually does want to be with him. She wants to be with him a lot, but she's just scared. She's just very, very scared over the fact that this dude can kill her. She could sense it. Like there's something just off. So he goes back to his apartment, and he's looking at all of his Alice in Wonderland stuff, his technology, his helmet, his mind device, and everything. And you see him just start getting angry, and you see him getting sad and crying, and he just wants Alice. He just wants Alice, and then you see him crying, and he starts laughing, and you see his eyes just shift, like his eyes shift, and he literally becomes the Mad Hatter. And he starts laughing hysterically. He grabs his top hat, puts it on, and he starts speaking like the Mad Hatter, and goes and puts on his jacket, puts on his costume, and goes out. And the first thing he does, he kills Alice's boyfriend. Kills him. Flat. And does it in the most brutalist of ways. And then that's when Batman gets this huge notion from Gordon that, hey, I need you to check out this scene. He goes and checks out the scene, and it's one of the most grotesque scenes that even Bruce saw. He was like, it's kind of disturbing. It's very disturbing. And he says that it's this guy again, isn't it? He goes, yeah. This is like the fifth one already. He goes, do we know who the guy is? He goes, we can't identify him. He burnt off his fingernails. He took out his tongue. He took out his teeth. He left nothing. And then he torched him. He goes, but there's one thing is, we saw this little needle point in the back of his neck. He goes, all right, I'll analyze it. He goes, all right, get the information and get the heck out of here, or before the task force gets here. So Batman's like, all right. And then he goes, Master Wayne. He goes, yeah, what is it? He goes, can you leave me alone? He goes, oh, of course. So Gordon leaves and he starts talking to Alfred. And Alfred says, you need to get back to the cave immediately. There's something you need to see. He goes, okay, I'll get the information I need. And he goes, Gordon, I'll investigate as much. He walks over and sees Gordon look at a tablet, and it's showing the press conference. And then he walks over and he looks at it and he's like, he goes, but I'll be damned. Cobblepot's back. And he goes, Cobblepot. He goes, Oswald? He goes, yes, Oswald Cobblepot's back. And he goes, Master Wayne, get back immediately. There's something you need to know. So he leaves. He leaves, goes back to the cave, and then Alfred tells him the story of everything I told you about what happened with Oswald. That's what Alfred kind of tells him. But he doesn't tell him in the exact way. He tells him that someone killed his parents. Oswald has been in England this whole time, but people have always been wondering a lot about that. Like, who gave all the money and the power and the weapons to Carmine Falcone? And how the heck did he know about where the hell Thomas will be? How did he know all of this? There are things that there's no way he would know. So he says that it has to be it has to be Oswald. He goes, what do you mean? Like, he goes, Oswald, he goes, my parents were murdered like X amount of years ago. He goes, yeah, but you were a little boy. You were even younger than what you were now. This was over 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago. So basically, he was already quite possibly maybe like 4 or 5 years old when this happened. He was 4 or 5 years old when this happened. When Oswald's parents died. He barely remembers it. So, you have Oswald standing in front of Oswald Estates, and he's talking about that he's been gone from Gotham for over 30 years. He just wants to bring his family's name back into prominence again. He heard about this situation with this weird clown and also these tribe of ninjas. What the heck is going on here? He goes, he heard about all this stuff happening in his city, so he's back to make sure that the true son of Gotham is going to start caring about this city. Unlike Wayne, he goes, what has Wayne done? Really, what has he done? He just reclaimed his whole he reclaimed his title, he reclaimed his company, but then but a lot of stuff is starting to come out that he's been doing some insider trading. Also about this situation with Reese. And then Batman and Bruce is in there going, and then Alfred's like, I'll get on that right immediately. So he's like, so you have Lucius who talking to Bruce, telling him that he's created a brand new suit for him, and Bruce is like, well, I'm not here for a new suit. He goes, I know you're not, but I'm here to give you one anyway. I think it's going to be a lot more beneficial for you. So he's telling him about this new suit that's very lightweight. It's rubber. Also, it's made out of high polymer neoprene, so it stretches. So you can put it on your body and it's skin tight. Also, it has literally triple plated Kevlar plates in the forearms and vital parts of the body, but in the chest and the head, it's quadruple plated, made out of a very dense tactile type of polymer, out of a high textile plastic weave with Kevlar Kevlar reinforcements. So basically, he could fall from a distance, get hit in the side of the head, and he could get shot in point blank with a high caliber bullet, and it won't dent that. It won't mess with that armor. It's a highly durable suit. So, he's telling him, "Huh, that's very good." He goes, "There's something else. There's something else, Mr. Wayne. Come with me." He walks into this room, and the same device that he created for the whole sonar, he basically puts that. He says, "Here, take this." He goes, "Put that in your cowl." And he goes, "I don't know." He goes, he tells him right off the bat that, a long time ago I told you that the less I know, the easier it won't be for me to lie. Well, that's kind of out the window now. I know who you are, and it's okay. And he tells him right off the bat that, hey, he goes, everything that you have right now is all yours. But this technology is nowhere. It's not labeled on anything. So basically, we won't have that same situation we have with Reese anymore. He goes, well, speaking of Reese, he goes, yeah, I've been trying to track I've been trying to track Reese ever since I heard about what Oswald said. I can't find him. He goes, I guess I'm going to have to go find him. He goes, good luck, Mr. Wayne. And he walks out. He goes, put that device inside that. He goes, I've also sent something to Alfred that's going to be a much better reinforcement. He goes, also it's going to be better for your cowl. He goes, always thinking 15 steps ahead. He goes, I kind of consider, I think more in probabilities. So he leaves. So Bruce leaves, takes his armor, gets a brand new suit. The cape is still the same, but it's highly flame retardant. So basically he can run through flame and it will not ignite. Same goes for the armor. So you're like, wow. So he can get flamed and it won't do jack squat. So at Oswald, so Bruce breaks into Reese's apartment, looks around, doesn't find Reese, doesn't find any evidence, but he finds out that Reese left months ago because he has piles and piles of mail, piles of it. So he's been gone for months, and no one's seen him. None of his neighbors has seen him. So that makes Bruce worry a little bit because this man is the man that knows that he's Batman. So he wants to make sure that this guy is okay. But you come to find out that guess who has him? The effing Penguin has him. He's tied up upside down above a vat of acid, and Penguin is walking down a corridor, and he's walking down a ramp, and he has his stereotypical umbrella, and he walks forward. And he leans over the banister and looks at Reese and goes, and he pulls and he takes the mufflement what he has in his mouth out of his mouth over his mouth, and he says, "So who is he?" And Reese is going, I don't know. He goes, "No, I think you do know, and if you don't tell me, you're gonna take a nice long bath." So, I really don't want to do this. Snaps his fingers. You look over to the side, and it shows his wife and kids, and they're hanging like this. They're hanging, not upside down, but vertical, and they're hanging over the same acid. And he's sitting, and you just like, and he goes, "I don't want to do this to your kids. I don't want to do this to your wife, but I guarantee you, I will. You know who he is. Tell me." And everybody gets to go free. No harm to you. I won't touch you. My men won't touch you. I'll give you money to leave the country. You will not be hurt. You will not be touched by any of my men. You get to live long, happy lives. He basically solidifies that if you tell me who Batman is, I will never retaliate against you. I'll leave you alone. That's a nice deal. He's thinking, oh, he's going to kill me. He goes, no, you have my word. As a gentleman. And he's sitting there going, wah, 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 wah. And Reese goes, he nods, and that's when you go, oh no, wow. They see the door bust open. He goes, I cannot believe it. And you see Maroni go, and you see Maroni. He's like, well, what? He goes, I know who the Batman is. He puts his umbrella inside of the rest of his umbrellas, sits down and starts smiling, and he goes, it's time for me to lay out my ultimate plan. The Iceberg Lounge. Something I've been wanting to build in England, but there's people involved that I really don't want to get involved. But this is the perfect time. This is the perfect opportunity to get it done now. Maroni's like, you just got here and you want to build a casino? He goes, not just a casino, you idiot. It's gonna be the most ritziest place in all of Gotham. The most powerful people are gonna go there, and because they're the most powerful, I get a ringside to all their dirty dealings. And once I have all their secrets, nothing's inescapable for the Penguin. And that's when Maroni goes, but Batman. He goes, Batman ain't gonna do nothing. All right, boys. He goes, get that task force all over this city. I want them. And he reveals it like he's the one who created the task force. Maroni's like, so you're the one behind this? He goes, you really think that stupid schlub of a mayor is going to have the money capable of creating this task force? Nah, that's the job. That's my money. To make sure that the Batman isn't going to be anywhere sniffing his little nose around my business. Case in point, he goes, well, I think I want him a little bit sniffling around. Start build. He goes, is everything going according to plan? You're like, yep. So then you get a time gap. It's literally 5 months later. Crime is starting to go down. They're wondering who the heck is in charge. Batman is taking care of bad guys, and they're screaming out they're not going to betray the Penguin. They're like, we're not going to betray the Penguin, and they false tooth eats it, and they get cyanide in their bellies. You're like, what the hell? Even Batman's like, what the hell? No one's going to betray the Penguin. No one. He even said that this is worse than the Joker. At least with the Joker, these are crazy people. These are sane men who are just getting, nope, we're not betraying the Penguin. And they die. They pull out a false tooth and die. They're not going to betray the Penguin. Then Batman, then you go back to the whole situation with Jervis. Alice is still a little disturbed over what happened with her boyfriend. She doesn't want nothing to do with anybody. And this is the part where I go, this shows to you the type of person that Jervis is. He stayed away from her that whole time. So when they meet again, because again, they're in the same building, but they're not in the same area. Like he's on the top, she's one of the receptionists almost at the bottom. So when they meet up again, he goes, "Oh, Alice." She goes, "Oh, Jervis, can we talk?" And he goes, I'm kind of busy. I mean, I got a big thing with Bruce Wayne." She goes, "Yeah, okay. I mean, we'll talk later." He goes, No. You know what? I have not been a good friend to you. I left you alone because I thought that maybe I did something that disturbed you, but you need a friend. I heard what happened to your boyfriend, and I'm very, very sorry for that." She goes, "Yeah, can we still talk?" He goes, Yes, come to my office." And she goes to his office, and his receptionist says, "You got Bruce Wayne coming in like 15 minutes." He goes, "It's okay. You could tell Mr. Wayne that I'm with a friend, and she needs comfort. Come." And she's like, and the receptionist's like, "Yeah, comfort. Like, really? Like, whatever." So he sits down, and she's telling him about how basically her boyfriend was an a-hole. The only reason why she stayed with him, one of the reasons why she stayed with him, not the reason, but one of the reasons why she stayed with him is because in a way she felt safe, but she could never be free. And he's like, I understand. She goes, to see the people I want to see. You understand what I mean, Jervis? She's kind of staring at him like she's giving him the hints. Like if it wasn't for me being with him, I would definitely be with you. And he's looking at her like, and you get this. It's a kind of a awkward situation, but it's more of a building of both their characters. That she's basically telling him that I would love to be with you, not whatever the heck is going on with you. Are you okay with that? That's what she's trying to get to. Also, he's trying to be devoid of his emotions and be a friend to her. And he's not trying to give into his craving for his emotions that yes, I want to be with you. I love you, this and that. He doesn't want to devolve into that. He wants her to make the move so he knows it's okay to make the move. That's how he wants to play that game. But she's sitting there giving him the hint, like, yeah, tell me you want to be with me, and I will be with you. But the moment they try to figure it out, that's when Bruce Wayne, right when he's about to tell her, like, I will love, and then that's when he gets the buzz that says, Bruce, your 5 o'clock is here, your 3 o'clock is here, it's Bruce Wayne. He goes, and she goes, later? Yes, later. And he sits back, and then she leaves, and then she goes, Mr. Wayne. He goes, Alice? And he walks over, and he goes, so they talk. So Bruce reveals to Jervis that because of the ramifications of the problems that Jervis has been having with his device to help these criminally insane people, he has to pull the funding. And Jervis is like, you can't do that. If you do that, my company will fall. He goes, I got to pay all these people. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't. Unless you could provide results that your device can work, I have to pull funding. I cannot keep funneling money into something that's not going to work. I hope you understand that. And Jervis is like, I understand. No, I don't understand. You're a wealthy individual. Could you just give us some more time? He goes, Bruce sighs and he says, all right, you have by the end of the week, which gives you 4 days to give me something for me to show that I'm making a worthwhile investment. And if you can make it work, you got as much money as you possibly need. Jervis is like, I will make all the necessary arrangements. I will make sure that this works. He goes, all right. Puts his hand out. They shake hands, and he walks off. And Jervis is like, and then Alice kind of walks in and goes, Jervis, is everything okay? He goes, and he reveals to her that he's broke. He's been basically working off of Wayne's money this whole time, paying all these people. And he's not been producing any results. And she's like, Jervis, you can't. What are you gonna do? He goes, if I don't bring any level of results in the next 4 days, that's it. I'm done. She goes, I'm so sorry, Jervis. And she kind of goes, we'll talk later, though. He goes, no. Dinner, please. She goes, okay, Jervis. Let's, 8 o'clock? He goes, 8 o'clock. And she walks out, and Jervis sits down, and that's when you hear the voice in his head goes, Wayne is never going to allow us to do what we want. And Jervis is like, no, he's a good man. He wants the best. You can hear him. He goes, no, Jervis, you don't understand. The girl is afraid of you. Can you just accept it? He goes, no, she doesn't. No. He goes, no, he's not. She's not afraid of me. And you have this talk, like he's basically making him devolve further and further into a psychosis until the point where he goes, no, why? He goes, why won't you let me be happy? He goes, you were more happy when you were bathed in the blood of your enemies, when you were as mad as the Hatter. And he goes, and you see him, a defeated face. He's defeated, and he goes, you're right. I was happier when I was bathing in their blood. Yes, Jervis. Take a back seat. It's time that the Hatter gives you your just desserts. And you're like, oh boy. So the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. So then he goes to Arkham Asylum and uses his device on the inmates there and starts breaking their minds, starts breaking them to give viable data. One of the last people he uses is Jonathan Crane, and Jonathan Crane's like, I know who you are. He goes, really now? Do you, Scarecrow? He goes, and this look of fear, like he goes, oh, the master of fear. Without your little gas, who's truly afraid? He goes, you can't do this. You can't. He goes, you are a doctor, Jervis. Don't do this. And he goes, you were a doctor too, until you decided that you wanted to feel the fear of your enemies and study their phobias. Well, now I am going to tinker with your minds. And he goes, you have Jonathan going, no. He goes, yes, I see it. Break. And he goes, and you see blood coming down his nose. He goes, and he just coughs. He goes, I can see your mind, and everything inside of it is beautiful. And he goes, the delicious fear. Yes, I can see it. I can. The League of Assassins? You worked with them? He goes, yes, Mr. Hat. And he says, yes, Mr. Hat, I worked with them. Tell me more. And he starts talking to him, just telling him everything he knew about the League of Assassins, about everything he ever knew about Carmine Falcone and everything else. So then you get the grand opening of the Iceberg Lounge. All the richest people in Gotham go there, and Bruce Wayne shows up, and you have this kind of bicker between Bruce and Oswald, and that's when Bruce starts to realize that Oswald's way more than he's letting on to. And also, he's wondering where the hell he got all this money, because the only way he could ever get this rich is unless he's been doing something else. So he's been thinking, like, that's when he starts putting two together, thinking that maybe Oswald is this Penguin character. And then, but earlier in the movie, you establish that Interpol has a huge thing about who the heck is the Penguin, and it has to be viable information, because they've been looking for this Penguin character for close to 30 years. And he starts piecing it together, and that's when he comes to find out that it's been Penguin this whole time. Penguin is the one that put the hit on his parents. Penguin is the one that gave the money to Carmine Falcone. He is the one that ordered Carmine to kill the Waynes. It's all been one thing by the Penguin. Penguin is the man. He is the true boss of all the events that's been going on in Gotham. He's been softening Gotham up this whole time. That's been his plan. And Bruce pieces it together. He tells it to Alfred. Alfred starts helping him with more of the stuff, saying that, yes, he's been, oh boy. So his plan, Penguin's plan, was to destroy all of Gotham, send it down into this spiral. And then when he comes back, he's going to be the prodigal son returned, and he's going to have all this stuff and build all this new things, take care of everything. But the Harvey Dent law is the main thing that screwed everything up. And then he finds out the one thing that happened, because he bought somebody in the police department and got the information and found out that it was literally Harvey Dent that was Two-Face. He finds that out. And that's what's been the big secret that he's been holding on to this whole time. And he finds out that Batman is Bruce Wayne. So what he does is he tells he sees Bruce, and he tells Bruce that, everybody lives double lives. But unfortunately, there's always people here, the richest of all of us, that have the most secretive of lies. And he kind of alludes that Bruce is Batman. But he has nothing to worry about because Batman has been a plague on this city for far too long. We don't need this costumed criminal inside of our city. Hence why I am placing a $500 million bounty on the head of the Batman. Everybody's like, what? And Bruce is like, that means every mercenary in the world is literally going to come to Gotham. Everyone. You're like, what the hell? He puts it out there. He says, I have a digital card here that has $500 million, $500 million on the man that can kill, man or woman, doesn't matter, that can kill the Bat. I'm going to do something that that idiot clown could never do. I'm going to kill the Batman. And unfortunately, the person who's not going to do it is not going to do it for free. You know, it kind of throws that line back out there. And Bruce stares at him and just goes, you sick son of a bee, you know. He's very upset over it. So then he gets the heck out of there. And that's when he gets pulled over by Penguin, by Oswald, and Oswald looks at him and says, you know, he goes, you know, I'm gonna cut to the chase. I know who you are. I know who you are, Wayne. You're not gonna take over my city. And then you see Bruce look at him going, I won't let you do it, Oswald. He goes, you could, but I got evidence that you've been using your family's money to lord it over all these people as the Batman. Nothing you could do is going to stop it. I have the money. I have the name. And fortunately for you, and unfortunately for you, I also have the task force. Snaps his finger and all the task force members come out of the shadows and he goes, you see, Wayne, I own everything in Gotham. I even own the life of your mother and father. And that's what starts to fuel him again. He goes, you did what? He goes, you know what? It's easy. I got my parents whacked. I did the same to yours. Easy too. All it took was a little green. And the golden family of Gotham went like a puff of smoke. And you can see Bruce is getting angrier and angrier. He goes, I can see it in you, Wayne. You want to hurt me. You want to kill me. But the moment you lay hands on me, that's when everything's going to go to pot. The city is mine now. The city belongs to the Penguin. I'll see you around, Wayne. He smokes a cigar and you hear him going, wah, 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 wah. And he walks off. He chuckles. You're like, wow. He walks off. He walks off. And Bruce is getting angrier and he walks off too. And that's when he says, I'm going after the Penguin. Alfred's telling him, no, don't do this. Don't do this. This is what he wants. And he goes, no, I'm going after him now. I'm going to take him down. And he goes after the Penguin. Almost gets completely killed. He almost gets completely killed. So what happens is that he literally goes after Penguin, almost gets completely killed, and he gets almost captured by the task force, and he gets saved by Gordon, who tells him, "You need to get the heck out of here." So Bruce is trying to figure out how he's going to take down the Penguin, how he's going to take him down. He can't reveal that he's the Penguin or he's going to lose his identity too. Alfred tells him, "So what are you going to do, Master Wayne?" He goes, I gotta make him show who he is while I gather the evidence." So on the other side of the spectrum, you have the Mad Hatter, who's slowly eating away at Jervis. Jervis is slowly starting to go away more and more. He's becoming more like the Mad Hatter. And he and Alice goes on another date. He wines and dines her, he serenades her, everything else. And then He they go back to her apartment. Now, like I said, there's a bit of a twist. She looks into his eyes, and she starts to try to take off her dress, because she's gonna have sex with him. She's gonna have sex with him. She's gonna give herself to him. And you see him just go, that sinister smile. And when she looks up, she goes, and she grabs his cheek and pulls him, and they look, and she looks him eye in the eye, and she literally says to him, "Don't let it go. I want Jervis." He goes, he slaps her hand away. He just slaps her hand away. He goes, "I am Jervis." She goes, "What are you doing this for?" He goes, and she picks up her dress and puts it on, and she goes, "If you're not going to be fair, then I won't do it." He goes, "You don't tell me." And she goes, and she looks at him and slaps across the face. She goes, "I want to talk to Jervis. I'm not an idiot. I know who you are. And I know you're the one that killed my boyfriend. Like, you killed all those people. How dare you?" And she goes, "Are you going to do it? Are you going to be the one that kills me? Because if you kill me, Jervis is going to make you go away." And that's the thing that makes you so afraid, isn't it? That if Jervis takes control, you're never going to get back out. But go ahead and kill me. Do it. I want to speak to Jervis. Fine. And he regresses, and Jervis comes out and goes, "Huh, what's going on?" And she looks at him and goes, "Stay with me. Just stay with me." And she makes love to him. She makes love to him. She has sex with him. Because she wants Jervis. She doesn't want the Mad Hatter. And like I said, the ending is so screwed up and twisted. You're just like, wow. And then, so then, after they had their affair, he feels better. It's like, oh my God, the Hatter is gone. He doesn't feel that weight anymore and everything else. And then he gets up and he sees her gone, and then leaves a note. And the note says, "Jervis, I love that our night together, and I would love to have that again, as long as it's you, not him, Alice." And he's like, she does love me. She does love me. Yes, I don't need you anymore. And then that's when the door hits open, and he goes, "What?" And then Penguin's guards come in. He's like, "What the? Who are you?" And they grab him and they take him. He goes, "No, what are you doing?" And then they drop him down. He's like, "Huh, huh." And the Penguin walks up and goes, "So you're the guy? What are you talking about?" And he goes, "What's going on here?" And Maroni's going, "I don't think he knows anything, boss." "You tell me this is the guy that made the phone call?" What phone call? What phone call?" He records, he goes, "Oswald, my name is the Hatter, and I have a proposition for you. I can help you get rid of the Dark Knight. Only thing I ask is that you make sure Jervis doesn't come out to play." No, please. No, I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like, hey, what are you doing here?" And he's in there going, "All right, I'm just going to kill him." No, please, I'll do whatever you want." "All right, well, tell me what the heck you know." He goes, I just, he goes, and the guy walks away and goes, "Sir, I got his file." "Maroni, what is on him?" He walks over and he looks at it, and it literally says that this guy is a criminal psychologist in the field of the mind. Like, basically, he understands the mind. He's been building these devices. He goes, "A device that makes it so you can control other people's thoughts or read them? That's a very good little thing you can do there, Mr. Tetch. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to work for me now. Well, not you. I want that Hatter guy." So whoever this Hatter guy is, he goes, no, he grabs the head and goes, no, not, there. What the, he goes, "What the hell is it?" They all grab, he goes, I know you're going to lay your hands off me because I'm the only one that knows how to work those devices. Penguin. He's like, I don't know what to do. He goes, as foolish as you think that I am this idiot. First and foremost, if you know that I am the Mad Hatter, then you must presume that I must know you're the Penguin, since I am the one that made that phone call. This guy's crazy than the... No, you have Maroni says, okay, this guy's crazy than the clown. Let's kill him now. He goes, no. He goes, no. We dealt with something like this a couple of years ago. I know about the clown, all right? This guy's not no joker. He's smart. All right. What do you want? He goes, simple. Let me create the device. You get control of the minds of all the most powerful people in the Gotham. I just need one thing. And he just does this, and he goes, don't say it. Just do it. You sure? Mm-hmm. Okay. Consider it done. He walks off. And he smiles. You're like, what the heck is going on? And Maroni's like, what the hell is going on here? And he gets up, he goes, I told you I'll make you understand, Jervis. And he smiles. You're like, holy shit, what the hell is going on? So then you have Batman being chased by the criminals, and then he goes to Penguin's, he goes back to the Iceberg Lounge, completely gets freaking framed. So it's like, what the heck? He goes there to try to take down the Penguin, only to have it where basically the Penguin sets it up that nothing is there, and he's getting this false information, and also it's going on videotape that he's breaking and entering into the Iceberg Lounge, so it's making them even worse. People don't like him. So Penguin says that right off the bat, like, hey, if the Batman's gonna come after me, after a legal citizen here, then I guess that all bets are off. So he unleashes not to Gotham but to the world that this $500 million is for any mercenary, not in Gotham but the world, to come after the Batman. Bruce is like, oh well, this is okay, well fine, whatever, and tries to take on these mercenaries. So you have, throughout most of the movie, the rest of the movie, this is the second act. This is the longest act. The third act is pretty short. So at the end of the second act, towards the end of the second act, Penguin helps Hatter complete his device. And again, this is during the 4 days. So when Jervis shows the device that it works, he shows this after a couple of days. And then he goes through the rest of his thing, and he shows to Wayne the information, and he says, oh, so it does work. And he goes, yes, I also have a videotape. He shows the videotape, and it's the false videotape. It shows the person going, and then blood coming out of their nose, and they freaking die from a blood hemorrhage. He goes, but wait a minute, it doesn't show that in your notes here. He goes, no. He lived. No, please. He goes, we can't do this. If your data is off, then how the heck can I trust that? You have video evidence that this person's going to die. I'm sorry, Jervis, I have to pull. He goes, no, please. I'll be ruined. He goes, I'm sorry, Jervis. I have to pull it. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Tetch. We have to go. I understand. And he goes, I understand. And then they leave. And then Bruce is like, there's something wrong with that. He goes, I'll look into it. And they leave. Alice comes in, and she's like, Jervis, is everything okay? I'm finished. The data was on. It was perfect. But the video, it was altered. Someone killed that poor person. And Alice is like, I'm so sorry, Jervis. I'm so sorry. And she tries to touch me. He goes, no, no, please. I, I just want to be alone. She goes, and that's when she goes, no, Jervis. She pulls a chair up. Don't be alone. Be with me. You promised. No, Alice, I will be fine. I give you my word. Okay. She gets up. He goes, and the moment she leaves, you see his face go. Like he was already. It was Mad Hatter that whole time. It was the Hatter that whole time. So basically, he said he waits a bit and then he gives her a call and says, "Meet me at Lasenio's." So she's like, "Dinner, 7:30." She goes, "Okay." Like, "Okay, are you okay?" He goes, "I thought about it and I do really need you." So they go to dinner, and he's doing a much better job acting like Jervis, and she doesn't sense it. She doesn't sense anything. That demure. It was like, wow. So he sits her down and goes, oh, his little quabbles. So that's when he goes, Alice, there are times when people need to be taught a lesson. And she goes, Jervis? And he goes, everyone needs to be taught a lesson. She goes, and her eyes widen, and you're like, oh no. She goes, and you see her just start to cry, like, no, please, you promised. He goes, I promised nothing. And he goes, you see, Alice, you are going to be the catalyst that's going to make sure that Jervis goes away. I made sure of it a long time ago. For the past couple of days, at least. And she goes, if you do this, he'll make you go away. No, no, no. I thought the plan. And it's always so sad. Because the man and the woman can never be together. And eventually it'll drive the man mad. So, and he puts on his helmet, and she goes, now we're going to see if this works. And he puts his little car, she goes, and she falls into the thrall, and they're like, guys are like, whoa. He goes, there, now I get my game. I will play with the bat. Tell the penguin that everything is going according to the grand plan. Let's go, my dear. Off we pop. And you're like, oh boy. And he takes her, and you're like, what the heck? And she just follows, and they do the whole Alice in Wonderland situation. Bruce is faced with a choice because the Penguin is now starting his master plan. His master plan is now to use Jervis's technology to control the minds of all the richest people in Gotham because he put their stuff in various level of headgear and everything else, and they can be controlled. And Bruce has to go after them, or try to save this poor woman from a fate against the Mad Hatter. So when he goes and tries to take on the Mad Hatter, and also this is where he finds out about the Mad Hatter. He finds out about the Mad Hatter, and he confronts him. He does the whole Alice in Wonderland, and it's not for the fact of he's getting in his way. It's more on the fact that he knows that he's trying to slow Batman down, so Batman would not pose. He thinks that Batman doesn't pose no more of a challenge, and he gives them all like the Queen of Hearts, the Jack of Spades, the Carpenter and the Walrus. He does all this stuff, and they have this huge battle, this huge levels of battle, and Bruce uses the new suit, and it proves to be really good. But here's the twist. When Alice goes to him, and when he's defeated, he loses the helmet, he gets up, and she literally says, you promised. He goes, Jervis is gone. She goes, And and you see her just starting to cry. She literally says, "Since when?" He goes, "Oh, my dear, since the day you gave me that beautiful flower. He was in such delight. I left him in that delight, but only in his mind." She goes, "So that whole time, it's always been the Hatter. It's always been the Hatter." He goes, "You think that," he literally says to her that, "You think that I don't know my mind more than you do? Oh, my dear. The moment he was in absolute bliss, I knew that it was the perfect time to create the fantasy. Right now, he believes that he's on this beautiful date with you, and he's making beautiful babies. Too bad when too bad when everything starts to slowly crumble down around him. The reality of everything. He's slowly going to lose you, and then lose his job. Lose everything. And when that happens, I will always be there." And you see Bruce is this getting, this like, and it's a self-reflection on Bruce. It's a self-reflection. Like, because of the death of Rachel, he's devolved himself further and further to become Batman. He's never going to become Bruce Wayne. He goes, you're living a lie. You have to live the life perfectly fine. You have to be fine with who you are. He's not fine as being Batman. He's not fine being as Bruce Wayne. And it's showing slowly and slowly, slower and slower. He's getting angrier and angrier easily. He's taken it out on a lot of criminals. And that's been the pivotal point with Batman's character throughout The Dark Knight. He's an angry person. And then Alice just goes, "So he's gone forever?" He goes, "Oh, my dear. Yes. Forever." Okay. And she falls to her death. He goes, "What the?" And Batman's like, "What?" And she falls to her death. You're like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, oh, I won." And Batman's like, "I won. I beat him. I beat Jervis. And now I have her death in my mind. And now I can make him pay." And Batman just walks over and punches him right in the jawline and knocks him out. You're like, "Damn." He goes, and then you see Jervis is laying upside down, and he sees something in his pocket, and it shows a note. It shows a letter, basically a note, and he opens it up, and it says, "Whoever reads this, if I've been captured or murdered, realize that I am not under my own duress. For years, I've been plagued with this negativity towards myself, and I called it the Hatter. But this is my solemn will that I hope that the girl of my dreams, Alice, is still alive, because without her, there's nothing to live for. Jervis Tetch." And Batman's like, that's it. Like, Jervis is gone. There is no more Jervis Tetch. Because the moment Alice died, Mad Hatter is going to use that to get rid of her Jervis, to make Jervis fall further and further into his psyche. There's no way to bring him out. And then he walks off, and he goes straight after, and Gordon goes, "What's going on?" He goes, "Take him." And he goes, "Where are you going?" "Penguin." And you're like, "Penguin? Penguin who? What are you talking about?" "I'm going to go see Cobblepot about the Penguin." And he goes, when you get the sign, you'll know." And he goes, "Just be careful of it." And he goes, and the other guy, the GCPD, they're like, okay. And you hear his music going, dun, 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 dun. His music, and he's driving all the way down there, and he gets in there, and he is on a hell bent, because Penguin is sitting there going, "What the heck is going on?" He goes, "The Bat." And he goes, "The Bat? Oh, hell no, I'm out." And he goes, "Maroni, if you walk out that door, don't come back." He goes, I've been gone for a long time. Boom. Hold that bit. He goes, yep. Forever. Guys are like, take out the trash. Yes, boss. They he picks him up and tosses him out like trash. They toss out Maroni, Sal Maroni like trash. He gets up, makes a phone call and tells the other families. He tells them flat point blank, if anything ever happens to me, you know what to do. And they're all going, yes, boss. So he basically hangs up and he goes, all right, boys, fortify the place. Make it more. He says, literally, I want this place bat-proof. And they're like, yes, sir. And they all just start locking everything down. And Batman just driving up to Cobblepot Manor. So he gets there and he busts in and he takes all of the guards out, fights the mercenaries, fights the task force, fights everybody. Gets to Penguin, and Penguin is like, he uses his umbrellas, going boom, boom, boom. His shotgun umbrella. He uses the flamethrower umbrella. He uses the 50 cal umbrella. Dude, he uses every one of his umbrellas. And then they go at it fist to fist, and it shows that, dude, he's no joke. He punches him, and it hurts Batman's like, oh my god. Batman punches him. He's like, ugh. And they fight, and then Batman just goes, you know what? I'm done with this, and starts fighting way more dirty. He starts tearing him apart, just hitting his kneecaps, breaking his body, slowly, bit by bit, just beating him down. And then he tells him, like, he goes, you're gonna do it, Wayne? You're gonna do it? And he goes, I'm not you. He goes, of course you're not. He goes, you know what? The clown presented a great challenge, but always in the deep end of everything, I'm always gonna be your greatest rival. He goes, the clown may have tried to break you by killing off Dent, but I know the truth, and now it's gonna happen. And then Batman's like, and he punches and knocks him out. So when the moment he knocks him out and everything, a couple of days later, you get the Vicky Vale. Now I'm going to talk about the whole thing with Vicky Vale and Vesper Fairchild and Selena Kyle in just a moment. But you get the Vicky Vale news that she's saying that it has come to our attention that some viable information has been presented before us that shows that Harvey Dent was Two-Face. And Batman's like, and Bruce is like, he goes, from an anonymous source, it shows that Commissioner Gordon has literally hidden the fact that it was Harvey Dent that murdered 3 people, including Detective Warts, and he attacked all these people and all this and that. Like the night of the attack of Joker, that Harvey Dent went on a mad rampage, killing people randomly. So why is it now that they instituted this new Harvey Dent law? Did they cover up Harvey Dent's what happened with Harvey Dent and used his death to propel a new law for tax-paying people to pay for a new law to protect them? From what? And also, what is Batman's angle in this? This is news that will now be investigated by me, Vicky Vale. And I'm from the Gotham Gazette. Thank you for, she says thank you. And Bruce is like, and Alfred's like, my word. And he goes, it's over. It's over. And then you have this press conference, and it shows that Commissioner Gordon goes, yeah, I did it. I believe that the city was safer knowing that Harvey Dent was not in his right sound mind and this and this and this. And because of this, he has put his formal resignation. He's not the commissioner of Gotham City anymore. And people were like, whoa, what? He goes, if the city will not trust me, then trust the Batman, because he was the one that, he reveals it all. He tells that it was Batman that did it. Batman told me that the legacy of Harvey Dent is more important than anything else. He will take do this. He will do that. And I went along with it because I believe that he was right. But now it's out there. Harvey Dent killed those people. He attacked my wife and children. He was a criminal. As good as everything he's ever done, There was always a darkness inside of everybody. And Harvey succumbed to his. He's not a hero. Batman's a hero. And you have this huge thing, and Bruce just sits there and he walks off. And then as he's walking off, Selena Kyle walks up to him and goes, "Hey there, remember me?" He goes, "Yeah, at the gala." She goes, "Mm-hmm. You want to go get a drink?" He's looking around. He looks at her. He goes, "All right, let's go." She goes, "You're buying." Of course. She puts his arm out. She wraps hers in his, and they go off to go get themselves a drink, and that's the end of the movie. And as the credits roll, you get a post credit scene, and it shows Penguin going into Arkham Asylum, and he sits down, and he's like, "I can't believe I'm in here with these crazies." And then that's when you hear, "You know what, Pengy?" He goes, "Oh Jesus, no." You see Joker on the other side of the door going, "You know, everybody always wants to top the top hat. But unfortunately, unless you're the true clown, unless you're the true prince of all of Gotham, you can't topple the king. I tried, and I failed. But fortunately for you, I always have a plan." And you're like, "What the hell?" And Penguin's like, "You know what, clown? I always have a plan. Isn't that right?" And then he goes, "Mm-hmm." And then you see out of the shadows the League of Assassins. And you're like, "What the hell?" He goes, "Tell her that I said all right. If Penguin can't own this city, and neither can the Joker, do it." And you hear, "Talia al Ghul sends her best." And he goes, "I always got a plan." He's smiling, going, and Joker's like, "Mm-hmm. You know, I'm gonna like you, Birdman." And you see him laughing and everything, and you're like, "What the hell?" So basically, you get the understanding that Penguin made a deal with the League of Assassins. If anything ever happened to him, the city's yours. Do whatever you want with it. Destroy it if you have to, but get rid of Batman. They couldn't do it. So you're like, "What the hell?" So that's the mid-season finale. I'm not the mid-season. No, that's the post-credit scene. Now I'm gonna get into about now Vesper Fairchild. She was just eye candy. She was something that Bruce was dating for a little bit, but they never really did anything. She was at one of the galas. Vicky Vale and Bruce met a few times throughout this movie, but they never really hit it off. Mainly because he was Batman throughout most of the time, but he kept looking at Selena like there's just something about her, and he just couldn't pin it. He just could not pin it on her. There was nothing he could do about it. So basically, Bruce just kind of, they had a drink, and he says that, "It's on me." That's why she says, "Oh, you're gonna pay." He goes, "Yeah," like, "Yeah, that was the deal. Like, I'll pay the next one." But she was barely in the movie. So then when you get at the very, very end, you see Batman just sitting on a gargoyle watching over his city, and then you hear a smash of a window, and Batman stands up and looks over, and he goes over to an area, and he sees a shadow just kind of going whoop, and then he jumps down, and as he jumps down, he stands up, and standing right on the opposite side of him is Catwoman. And she goes, "Meow." And you're like, "Wow." He goes, and Batman just goes, clenches his fist. She just goes, her claws come out. You're like, "What the hell, dude?" And that's the end of the movie. That's the true end of the movie. So basically, the next movie would set up Penguin. It would set up the League of Assassins with Catwoman. They already have their thing. He doesn't know that she's Selena Kyle. She doesn't know that he's Batman. You have all this other stuff going on, and also he's he's understanding that he made a lot of mistakes, and now he has to own up to those mistakes. And the city is starting to become is now starting to heal a little bit, and now you're gonna have the League of Assassins come back, and Talia al Ghul is behind all of it. So you're gonna get a lot of story about that. So that's how I would do the Dark Knight Rises. And the next one is called The Dark Knight Legacy. And I said I was going to introduce Dick Grayson in this. I'm not going to do Dick Grayson in this. Dick Grayson, it's way too much story. The last one will be Dick Grayson, the legacy part. That will be Dick Grayson, and the introduction of Robin, and basically Bruce becoming the Batman, becoming more as the Batman, and now bringing in a young boy into this situation, into and becoming now a mentor to somebody else, to so they will not make the same mistakes he did. And that's how I would do it. So that's how I would do it. I hope that you liked it. I will do the one for what I think that Ben Affleck would do with the Batman. Um, Talking about this for a while, it's taken a little bit out of me. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and then I'm gonna come back and I'll give you guys that story. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell. This is about an hour and 40 minutes, and I hope that you guys enjoy it, and you guys have a great day and a great night. Bye.